Modern Warfare 3 introduces open combat missions, which for the first time allows players the choice of how to complete objectives based on their preferred playstyle. Open combat missions are part of the campaign. They're part of the story, but you get to play them in the way that you want to play them. Those who like stealth gameplay can play it stealthily. Those who like to snipe, or if you like vehicles, or if you like to go guns and blazing, all of those options are supported and afforded to you as a player.
This isn't just some additional mode that lives alongside the campaign. This is intertwined with the story, and we've intentionally dispersed these throughout the campaign. When the player starts the mission, they are given a loadout, but as they go through and play, they'll be encountering new weapons, tacticals, loot crates, and these are all added to your arsenal. Players can change it up. Play the mission now with suppressed weapons and sneak around, or strap on armor plates and run in loud, get right into the action. Enemies are now adapting and adjusting to your playstyle. Open combat missions have a decent amount of replayability aspect to them, and when I say that, it's less about go through the entire game and start over and play it a second time. It's more about, within each mission, trying to experience it in different ways. In one level, we start you on top of a catwalk overlooking the entire level. Hopefully by that point in the game, the player has gotten to a point where they can figure out how to start picking it apart. So player empowerment is a huge part of that level. You may even decide, to challenge yourself on some of these, like what's the fastest I can do this, or can I just bring a knife to a gunfight, and really kind of push the bounds on what you can bring as a player.
These are the type of campaign missions that we've always wanted to create, and we just can't wait to get them into the hands of the players.
The core values of being a SEAL, honor, courage, commitment, loyalty, those words, they live in me through training, through war. The process of transferring over into civilian life is a real challenge. The fact that the endowment's sole mission is to assist with that process, I think, is pretty admirable. I don't use this word very often, but I'm honored to be a part of it. Being in the military, you were surrounded by individuals that always had your back. My hope in this partnership with the Call of Duty Endowment is that I can help other veterans like myself come home and find new jobs, new purpose, new missions, still serving others.
For multiplayer in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, we wanted to give the player a new way to experience these classic maps. When we told the art team, we're gonna be making these maps, they lit up. They were like calling dibs on which ones they wanted to go get reference for.
Maps really come through. They feel like they felt back then. And when you're playing High Rise, when you're playing Estate, you feel really transported back. We questioned a lot of what was good about the movement of older games, what was good about the gunplay of older games, and the same with the newer games. So we tried to marry a lot of those things together.
The way we approach it is that, how are we gonna make these the best versions of those maps that people have ever played? Because that's what we wanted. That's what we want as fans.
There are places where the metrics of the level are adjusted to fit more modern gameplay, but for the most part, it's going to feel incredibly similar. The biggest changes are really in a fidelity sense. Places like Afghan, where it might have been difficult to see somebody in some of the circumstances, we have new tools to make that both look better, but also read better, so that your target acquisition is improved.
Favela is a map where it really pushed our opportunities to explore what you couldn't do in the old one and what you can do now. From an artistic side, the map has more detail than I think any other map. In High Rise, it's fun to explore and jump on the scaffolding and mantle to places that you weren't able to actually grab or reach before. Now you can get there.
When it was a question of whether it should be like the original or whether it should be more modern in terms of the metrics, we went with the original. And we pushed very hard to make sure that that experience was as close to the original as we possibly could while we modernized the look of the map.
I've seen people play it for the first time and they don't really know what they're gonna see, and when that load screen shows up for Favela or for Quarry, you see them light up like, oh my gosh, these are the maps that I've been hoping they would remake.
The whole team here is super excited to bring all of these maps to fans everywhere. For Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, we've added a new way to customize your weapons, Aftermarket Parts. Aftermarket parts are a new option within Gunsmith.
A way for players to come back to a weapon that they may have already mastered or played out, and it's going to give them an entirely new dimension to interact with the gun in a way that regular attachments can't. Think of them as remixes for the guns.
Really, the easiest way to say it is they're nearly a new gun. They are powerful, meaningful changes to these weapons. Caliber, the way that they fire, both rate of fire as well as potentially the fire type.
We're going to have one of our heaviest light machine guns in the game have a conversion kit that turns it into a bullpup, which greatly shortens the configuration of the gun and makes it so that you can really run and gun with it. You can spray from the hip, you can sprint out way faster than you could with this much longer, heavier version of the weapon. Aftermarket parts really aspire to just be fun. We want some of them to be just absolute oddballs that players are completely caught off guard by and want to get in there for just the sheer spectacle of it. It's going to expand playstyles dramatically. We've put a lot into aftermarket parts, and we are so excited for the community to get their hands on them.
Modern Warfare 3 is a brand new evolution in the zombies experience. We've got open world map with high threat zones, lots for players to do, and nothing but fun and mayhem.
When you talk about our zombies, you're talking about really tense moments. So we want to maintain that. So we had a couple of approaches.
There's more content for the players to engage with. We've got the zombies that you know and love, but between players and other zombies and other mercs, there's just so much room for emergent gameplay to come out of this.
So once you go in, you start in a lower threat zone and you see these zombies that are a little more idle.
It's the equivalent of the very starts of most of our zombies modes, where it's most of the zombies kind of walk, but then you move into the medium threat zone, and that is a big step. We start to introduce new zombie types to really up the ante. As you move into the high threat zone, now we're really starting to test your mettle. So we designed everything as though you were going to be a 3-player squad.
The key is we wanted you to go in and have the ability to meet other squads in this pure PvE experience.
If you are a lone wolf player, you can totally come in solo, and it's just going to be that much harder.
There is the option to assimilate with other squads. Say there's one contract that you do want to complete. You can do it by yourself, but say you want a hand, you can assimilate with the squad and then go back to your solo journey. There's no rule against not playing solo. In fact, we do support it, and there is something secret that I worked on that will help solo players stay alive.
Players, when they come in for the first time, they're going to find getting into the red from the very start is very difficult. They're going to have to go through the cycle of infilling, making some progress, and exfilling. That means that they'll be able to take some stuff back out of the match and equip it the next time they go into the match.
We're super excited for you to jump in with all of your friends. Cannot wait to see you on day one. Maybe I'll see you online to shoot some zombies. We'll see.